Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/AmITheButthole. Without a doubt, this channel's favourite sub, to the point where I don't think we really need an introduction to it. Come on, everyone already knows what it is and what it's all about. So I will not waste another second and get straight into this first post by user/playfulmushroom. Last summer, my husband and I found a cat in our backyard, just chilling on our back stoop. She was starving, skinny, and looking pretty rough. We didn't know if maybe it was a feral or a stray, we just knew she needed food and water. She was very skittish, but ate the food we gave her. The next morning, I checked to see if she was still there, thinking she was probably gone. But nope, there she was, still chilling on our back stoop. So I just kept leaving food and water out morning and night for the next 5 days. The 5th night, when I was leaving to go back inside, she stopped eating, followed me into the house, and just stayed. We took her to the vet a couple days later to see if she was microchipped, and she was not. Her blood test showed she had early stages of kidney failure. We posted a found cat on Craigslist, checked Facebook, and asked people in our neighbourhood. After 3 months of no luck in finding her owner, we decided to adopt her. We're able to manage her illness and vet bills, so we're trying to prolong her life as long as possible. She turned out to be the sweetest cat. It took a lot of work to get her to be more confident and comfortable. I've catified my whole house to make it an enriching environment for her. I've spent thousands of dollars in vet bills, cat furniture, toys, beds, treats, you name it, I bought it. She follows me around the house, telling me about her day, and sleeps on top of my chest. I love her to pieces. Well, a few months back, I found out about this cool app called Nextdoor. I'm subscribed for notifications about animals. Yesterday, I get an email notification about a missing cat. So, I click the link, and there's a pic of a cat that has similar markings like my cat. Very effing similar. Like they're twins. Mind you, my cat has very unique markings/colour on her face and paws, which this cat in the photo also has. I read the post, and this woman says she lost her cat last April. I found her in July, when she had moved to the area. She called vets and shelters looking for her cat. I checked her neighbourhood name, and she lives a few streets down from me. My heart dropped, and my whole body just started to sweat. At that moment, I felt like a cat kidnapper. I feel utterly horrible, but so conflicted at the same time. I love my cat so much. I never would purposely steal someone's cat. I thought I was helping a poor abandoned animal. I am normally a person who tries to be selfless and put out good energy into this world, not to get it back in return, but because I believe the world desperately needs it. But this right here, I'm so torn because obviously I don't want to give her up. I know the owner would be so happy to hear she's alive, and I want to give her that happy ending. At the same time, it would rip a big empty hole in my heart. Would I be the butthole if I didn't give her back? Look, personally, I'm inclined to say no buttholes here. OP, you did your best, you looked for the owner, you posted things, you tried to find this cat's owner, and no one showed up. You took this cat in, took care of her, and did the best you could. I mean, I understand the other owner would want their cat back, but with the cat missing for so long, and you having this cat for so long, I really don't think you would be the butthole if you didn't give this cat back. Though, we do have an update, so let's see what happens. The vet said her condition wasn't something she could determine that was due to neglect, since kidney disease is very common in cats, and there are no symptoms early on. I reached out to the owner, and we talked for a long time. We discussed a lot of things that I won't go into detail here. I do believe she's a lovely person, and the cat should be with her. They're bonded, and my bond with the cat can't compare to theirs. I'm sad, but I'm also happy that my cat will spend her final years with her person. She's going home tomorrow. Thank you all for taking the time to comment. You know, love can make you not see clearly sometimes, and do some morally questionable things. So thank you to all who kept it real, and told me I'm being a complete butthole. 'Cause I was. Good night, Reddit. I'm going to spend some quality time with Kitty now. Yeah, look, OP, I'm happy for the decision that you've made. You were able to put your own needs aside for someone else, and that's a very noble thing to do. I mean, I wish more people in this sub were like this, and maybe this sub wouldn't be such a disaster that way. Now, this next post by user/momandref is marked as not safe for work. I've had a read through and it's not too bad, so you shouldn't be too worried. I'm a single mother of 2 wonderful young children. The girl is 15, the boy's 17. Their father died just over 10 years ago. My son, over the last few months, has started making fun of his sister for having a period. He calls her breeder and blood monster. I've taken away his game system and computer, but he won't stop. I've spoken to him and even asked his therapist to address it with him. Both kids have separate therapists, and since their dad died, they go as often as they like. I've tried to help my daughter hide her period from him by having her share my bathroom instead of the kids sharing one. But he always seems to know. He'll even start sniffing hard around her saying, "It's breeder time again." I know she doesn't smell, cause if I let her, the poor girl would live in the shower during that time of the month. Plus, she loves perfume, so she smells like a lotion store most days. She is really upset when the time comes, cause of her brother making rude comments. I finally had enough. If he won't stop, he can be embarrassed. I went to the store and brought some very unflattering pads. The next time he made a comment, I brought them out and told him he had to wear them. It was the weekend, so no one saw. But he stopped entirely. He went to his therapist recently, and I came to pick him up and was asked to come in by my son for the last part. Well, the therapist is telling me I've hurt my son and damaged his confidence. I tried to explain, but was just told never to do that again. Now my son is back to the breeder talk and keeps calling me a butthole. Am I the butthole for my punishment? And let me remind you, this kid isn't 12, he's 17. Honestly, I think not the butthole OP, that is a suitable punishment. You need to teach your kid that saying things like that just isn't okay. And the therapist, I think it's time to look for a new one. I mean, Reddit has voted everyone sucks here. I mean, feel free to leave your opinions in the comments below. But I think OP is not the butthole. She's disciplining her kid, and as far as I can tell, it's worked pretty well. And here's our next post by user/shelterproof. My mother and I have never gotten along. She's a very serious overachiever type, and I've always clashed with people like that. She's also pretty self-righteous about things like pride and worth ethic, and she just isn't my type of person. I feel bad because I'm her only child, and I really wish she had a daughter she could actually enjoy. My mum wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer because that's what her friends' kids were doing. But I rebelled pretty hard against school. I left home the day I turned 18 and got by through modelling, working at clubs with fake ID, and dating rich men. She always said I would understand her disappointment when I had daughters. But I have 2, and I can't imagine being ashamed of something so petty. I met my husband when I was working as a yacht girl. That kind of means I was paid by rich men to party on their boats and keep the guests entertained. I did date some of those men, and they were very generous. My mum views that as prostitution. I don't know if I agree, but I 100% think prostitution should be legalized, so I don't really care. I met my husband. He scandalized his entire family by marrying one of those girls. And we've been very happy for 18 years. I do have an easy life, and I'm not going to lie and say it has nothing to do with looks. But they were my looks to do whatever I want with. My mum doesn't like my husband. She thinks we both partied too much and was hoping I'd grow up and do something respectable one day. She hates that he enables me to have the life she didn't want me to have. Well, I met her new husband the other day. He works in finance, nice enough guy, but very straight-laced. He asked me how I met my husband, and I told him the true story. My mother was furious, and I did know she would want me to lie or leave some details out. But it's my story to tell, and I'm not ashamed of my life. My husband thinks I should have lied and said it was full-on prostitution, but he's kind of a butt. My mum actually cried after dinner. So, am I the butthole? Look, OP, I reckon not the butthole. If this is your mother's new husband, the truth would eventually come out and just be a whole lot more awkward for them in the long run. But the reason why I sort of included this post was I was just so amazed by your bravado, OP, and just the ability to say, hey, this is what I did, this is what my life is, and not be ashamed of it and just claim it as your own. I just really like that and thought this post would be worth sharing for that reason. Feel free to leave your opinions down below, but I thought it was really cool. And here's our next post by user/throwaway-whiskey-35ym. I own a successful business, and I like to drink, and also collect expensive whiskey. One day, I was leaving a hotel with my current girlfriend, and we ran into her brother Victor, fake name by accident, and she introduced us, and she left in a cab. I stayed behind and had a nice chat. A few days went by, and I was having drinks at my favourite bar with some friends. We were drinking shots of an expensive whiskey called Glenmoyne 35 Years, $322 for a double shot. When Victor walks in with some friends as well, a group of 4. We greet each other, and we have a little small talk, and his friends call him over. It was his night to buy drinks apparently. Victor tells the bartender that he wants a round of what we're having. I don't know why the bartender didn't specify the whiskey was expensive. The bartender then proceeds to pour 4 double shots of Glenmoyne 35 Years, and they proceed to drink. We drank till close to closing time. I paid for our drinks, and as I was about to exit the bar, Victor was having an argument with the bartender. He was telling him, "There's something wrong with his bill. We only had 3 rounds each. He doesn't have $3,800. This bill is more than he makes in a month." They had a back and forth argument, and security was called in, and they grabbed Victor. When they had Victor, and I went over to ask what was going on, the bartender told me Victor was refusing to pay his bill, and they were going to call the police. Victor called the bar a scam, and that they're trying to cheat him out of his money. I looked at the bill and told him it looks okay. Victor said he didn't have that kind of money, and neither did his friends. So I decided to settle his bill, and we left. Outside, Victor and his friends called me a butthole for not telling them how much the drinks were going to cost. I told them it wasn't my responsibility to tell them how much everything was. This made him angrier. He said he assumed I was having a whiskey for normal people. I told him that I thought he could afford it. And I also said, who just orders something they don't know the price of? That's like saying the next round is on me in a bar. Till this day, Victor thinks I'm the butthole for what happened. These guys just got $4,000 of whiskey absolutely for free. You paid for it all, and they're calling you the butthole? Yeah, look, I don't get it. They should have checked the price. They shouldn't have called you a butthole. I mean, even the waiter should have worked it out and asked if they definitely wanted stuff which costs $300 a shot. I mean, OP, you could have asked them, but I feel like that would have been awkward as well. Like, hey, you know this costs $300 for a shot? I mean, it would be a weird thing to ask. And I honestly think, OP, you're the least butthole out of all of the people here, so not the butthole. And here's our next post by user/testhorror. Since the quarantine started, my daughter 15 has taken up cooking and baking. Our oven sucked, so we got her a new one as an early birthday present. And we also just needed one. She's been baking non-stop, and recently started making us dinner because my son and I are working hard to redo our backyard. Think building a shed and hardcore gardening. Since she's inexperienced, my daughter started out with a really easy recipe that involved frozen vegetables. The dish was great. The carrots were a little underdone, but I thought that just gave it a little extra crunch and didn't say anything. My son, however, has always made fun of his younger sister and comments on everything he sees her doing in the kitchen. While eating dinner, he said something along the lines of, "Some poor excuse for cooked vegetables," which made my daughter upset. She takes criticism to heart, and this comment kinda crushed her pride. I told my son that his comment was unacceptable, and that he should be grateful that he had a fresh meal ready for him when he decided to take a break from the yard work. I also told him that he should make dinner tomorrow since he thinks it's so easy. Now, some things about my son. He is very good at hands-on kind of work, which is why I have him out with me doing the hard labor in the yard. He hates cooking, and since my husband is a very good cook, he expects his dad to do the cooking for him. I sometimes worry for when he goes off to college and doesn't know how to make anything for himself. When I told him that he had to make dinner tomorrow, he complained and said he didn't know what to make. I didn't back down and told him to think of something. After dinner, he approached me and asked if I really expected him to make dinner. I said yes. It's only one meal. I'm sure he can come up with something. He complained again and said he was sorry for the comment he made. My husband thinks I should just let it go. But I think this would be a good learning experience for him. I'm sure my daughter would appreciate her work being taken more seriously too. So, am I the butthole? Nope, OP, I do not think so. Funny how this is the second parenting one in this little video. Once again, this isn't a baby. This kid is over 15 years old and is making really childish comments. I think this is just a good form of discipline and should stop these comments for good. And guys, I think this post will be the last one for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for edit videos 3 times every single week. Now, you may have noticed that there are a few extra videos. That's temporary, I've got time, I hope you're enjoying them, but regular upload schedule is still Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But with that said, you guys, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.